My profile is too bad. Please go easy on me. No worries. Let me take a quick look. I can give you an example. Because the first thing I see is you saying hi. And it's the same principle that with proposals. You say, hi, I'm Dennis, when they can see your name in your profile. I don't want to go too hard on you, but that's precious space. Mine is a bit weird. I'm not for everyone. I just got tired of weird ass people. But we can see this one. Let's make social media fun, shall we? And a lot of clients reach out to me because they have what they deem to be fun brands and they like that about my profile. So again, when a client is seeing, if I search for, I don't know, engineer, I don't know, look, you can see these are not necessarily like creative, but it doesn't start with saying hi. Naval engineer with wide experience. So you can see how much of your profile they will see, which is really short. So this one starts with saying 25 plus years of experience, which is something that puts them at the top, makes them important or good candidates. Also, from my experience, I don't know, your industry may be different, but nobody gives a shit where I went to school or if I went to school. Nobody asks me that. I think in over 10 years, one person probably asked me that. Again, not trying to be harsh, but I don't think clients give a shit if you're a graduate student and whatever. You can maybe mention it a little bit down the line in your profile, but it's definitely not what I would start with. Like, they can see your name. They likely don't care if you've studied whatever. And by the way, I don't know this, so it's a question for you to ask yourself. Does your ideal client, like the person you're wanting to work with or the person who would most likely hire someone like you, do they know these terms? Because if they do, that's great and you should keep them like up front. If they don't know what MATLAB, LaTeX, LTS Spice, if they don't know what that is, I would try to dumb it down. And that's actually nowadays something you can ask ChatGPT. Dumb this down for, and then you say your type of client. So, I don't know, a 5-year-old could understand, but instead of 5-year-old, you can say whatever client you're trying to attract. That's also another thing to consider. Maybe if you really don't have the specialized profiles, I would say keep your general profile more general. Like for the newbie, speak to a dumbass that doesn't know anything like me. And then when you create the specialized profiles in at least one of them, you can use that technical jargon so you don't use it straight out in your main profile, if that makes sense. So you can still have it for those that understand it, but not for the others. And I would highly encourage you, if you can find 2 relevant specialized profiles, do it. I know they have a limited range of things, but at least one would be great. And I see you have 2 things in your portfolio. I think it's always great to have 3 because it shows, like, if I click on this person's, you can see like here, it shows a preview of 3 things in your portfolio. So if you only have 2, it kind of feels incomplete. If you have more than 3, it will add different pages. But I typically say at least 3 so it feels complete. And then, of course, when you create the specialized profile, you'll be able to have a bunch of other skills. So I would just type maybe MATLAB and then see what else it recommends under that and choose whatever is relevant. Go to town with that. And also, you did mention you have a degree or whatever, but I don't see it down in your profile in the degree section. And I don't know if you have your profile at 100%, maybe not. But again, I would add more things to the portfolio, at least one more. And I would add your education here because while it's not necessarily relevant in your profile, you can still mention it, but not as like the front and center thing. I would add it here because it gets you points towards the profile completeness. Everyone starts somewhere. If you did projects at school, that counts. I don't know if you can make a project for yourself or for an imaginary client, or if you can get a client for free in exchange of a testimonial and to be able to use your stuff in your portfolio. And then you can always keep adding stuff to your portfolio and deleting whatever's not relevant anymore. but it's always best to have something. Even if you feel like it's not that big of a deal, it's better to have something than nothing. Upwork doesn't allow for free work, but you can find a client on like social media, LinkedIn. You can reach out to a brand that you know about and offer them like, hey, I'm just starting out my freelancing journey and I really admire your brand for X, Y, and Z. I would like to offer you a free whatever in exchange for a testimonial. Would that be okay? You can totally reach out to people either that you know or that are in your target audience. Just go for it. They don't have nothing to lose. And it's easier for people to say yes to something free because they don't have nothing to lose. And if you do a good job, you can even get a client out of that. But the main goal is to get a review and get more stuff in your portfolio because that's worth a lot. And actually, if you don't know, if you scroll down here, you can request testimonials from people outside Upwork as long as you have their LinkedIn. So again, if you find a person on LinkedIn, that would be great. You can just put it here and it sends them an email. You can send a message with it being like, hey, great working with you on X, Y, and Z. Could you leave me a review? It would really help me starting out. That kind of thing, people are happy to help, especially if you give them something in return. So it's, in my opinion, a win-win situation. Some people say don't work for free, but it's not free. You're getting something so valuable. Some people also say that you should do it for a discount, like a 50% or a 90% discount, just so the client has to pay something. But nobody makes the rules. I've done a lot of work for like $5. That was worth a lot more than that. If you're comfortable enough, if it doesn't bother you to do work for free, I would say do it. What's the harm? It's not good when you're like charging like really low rates because it does hurt other freelancers. But if you're starting out, who cares? You're not hurting anyone and you're helping them and they're helping you. I feel like people are, you gotta make 10K a month to be able to call yourself successful or whatever. Really? No. I think in over 10 years, I only made one 10K month and I'm not struggling, so why do I want to make 10K just because other people want to? Good for them. I learned a lot in my first few jobs. I was paid shit, but I wasn't depending on that money to live, and I learned so much from it. Like, people pay to take courses, so if you can get paid or even just do an exchange in order to learn and get started, I think that's worth it. And on that note, I also find it a bit iffy. I get a lot of requests, for example, regarding YouTube of people offering to edit one video for free or do a thumbnail for free. And while sometimes I'm tempted to take it, but I know because I'm not looking to hire, that would be scammy of me because I know I would never hire them after. So I wouldn't want to take their free work. But I get a lot of offers like that. The thing is, make sure yours is, like I said with everything, a little bit different because those that I do get every day is like clearly copy paste, clearly probably AI, and they didn't look at my profile, my YouTube, my videos. I love your videos. No, you don't. You never watch them. So make sure that they are somewhat genuine because while you're not asking them for money, it's still good to customize it a little bit. I make use of AI to help me, but I don't just put it like pumping out stuff. I could, and maybe I would get something from that, but it's just not how I roll. And I don't like receiving those pitches, so I wouldn't want to send those pitches.